Hey folks, going to be doing a quick little overview of Breakneck Derby here, kind of just like a rules introduction. Probably recorded at some point an actual playthrough, but we'll just do some rules right now. So basically in this game, you're going to be playing cards to move horses that you own. You're going to move other people's horses as well. And there's sort of two different phases of the game. Well, three. There's a, I don't want to call it drafting, but you just get dealt horses. So there's 10 different horses. You will get dealt to, depending on how many players, a number of horses. Everybody gets an equal number of horses, and any horses left over are owned by the house, quote unquote. They do have special rules for them. They are in the rule book on how they move when their cards are played. But I'm not going to go over that. I'm just going to assume that we have, like, let's say 5 people playing, so everybody has 2 horses. Everybody has an equal number of horses, and go from there. So, for instance, these would be the 2 horses that I have. I have the number 2 horse, which is purple, and I have the number 5 horse, which is already out here on the board. You're going to need 2 decks of cards for this game. It came, at least my version came with 2 decks of cards. I'm not sure if there's a pizza box version of this game that just has cardboard board instead of this nice wooden board, nice wooden cribbage board. But you're going to have the 2 decks of cards. 1 deck of card you're going to use in full, minus the promo cards that every deck of cards comes with. And then for the second deck of cards, you're going to remove all of the face cards, including the jokers. So you're just going to have the number cards. All right, cat, off. You're just going to have the number cards in that second deck, and you're going to mix them together to form one giant deck of cards that'll have double the amount of number cards, but only 1 set of face cards and jokers. After you do that, you're going to give those a nice shuffle to start the game. Like I said, you will deal out the horse cards to each player. Each player will get a starting hand of 3 cards, and that is going to be your max hand size, essentially. That's the hand size you're always going to be drawing up to. And then you will flip over the top card of the deck, which the first card that I drew was a queen. So if you draw a face card, you discard it until you draw a number card, and then it goes in the number 1 slot of the bonus hand. This is the area right below the main board here, spots 1 through 5. You place it in the first slot, so that means that since it was a 5, the number 5 horse moves 1 space because it's in the 1 slot of the bonus hand, and they are going to move in the club lane. So you see the board here is there's 4 lanes. There's hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs. And you're essentially going to play a card. Whatever the number is the number of horse that moves, and it will move that number of spaces in that lane. So the number of spaces of where it's played in the bonus hand. So if for instance, we'll play through, well, I'll get to that in a second. You like I said, you'll play a card. Whatever the number is on the card is the number of horse that moves. Wherever it's played in the bonus hand is the number of spaces, and the suit that it is the lane that it'll have to be in. So if I then played like a 5 of spades in the 2 spot, let's say I have a 5 of spades here, this will move this, the number 5 will go, he'll jump up to the spade lane and go 1, 2, 5 of spades in the 2, because I played the number 5 horse, which is the number 5 card. It was a spade suit, so I changed lanes to the spades, and I moved 2 spots. When you're in the straightaways, you can change lanes at will. when you get to the corners, you cannot change lanes. You can change lanes when you get to these. There's a set of suit, like I'm going to say a column, a suit column before, middle, and after each corner. That's the word I was looking for. And you can change there, but once you get into a lane in a corner, you cannot change lanes. So if this horse were to get into this lane here, this is the spade lane, I can only play right. I can only play spade cards. Yes. Let me double check that. Horse with the matching number of the card out of the starting plays the next card from their hand in any of the remaining bonus slots. Lanes. Oh, there's lane changes. Lane changes are free, do not count against horse movement. Straightaway are assumed to change lanes before forward movement. Remember that horses may always jump other horses along the line, so that's important. If there were two horses out here and I was to move, let's say I have, I played a 1, 2, 3. I played a 4 of spades, or a 5 of spades in the 4 spot. Then I could not move, because this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm blocked. So I lose that whole movement. So I would not want to play a 5 of spades in the 4 slot here. I could play it in the 5 slot, and that would put me right in front of the horse that's in front of me. Or I could play a 5 of hearts in the 4 spot, and then I change lanes, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm right beside that horse. So that's how that would work in terms of blocking movement. Yes, so once you get into a corner, you are essentially, if I was the 5 here and I'm in the spade lane, I'm at the beginning of the lane, I would have to play a 5 of spades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least in the number 5, possibly in the number like 4 or 2, like together, essentially, in order to get through that. There are other things that are going to cause this to move, so that's not a big deal, but just be aware that once you get in the corners, you will be stuck sort of in your lane, and you're going to have to play a matching number and a matching suit to get through it. Alright, so let's put this back. We'll put this back here. Let's see, what else? That's how the number cards work. So you're going to fill these bonus cards. So basically you play a card. This card was chosen off the top, so I would have the first hand. So we'll say I am then going to play... I'm going to play the 7 of hearts, and we'll put the 7 of hearts in the 3rd slot here. So I go to the number 7 horse. It's in the heart lane, and it's going to move 7s, or it's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. So bam, it's out of the gate. Now, whoever owns the number 7 horse is the next player to take their turn. So that's how it jumps around the board in terms of whose turn it is. After I played this, I would draw back up to 7, and play continues around in that fashion. Now, what happens with the face cards? Those sort of are, they don't really cause, they're sort of, I don't want to say bonus actions, but they're special superpowers, I guess you could say. So if you have a joker, you could play a joker on top of another card, and it eliminates that card from being considered in the final bonus hand for the round. Or not round, but when this gets filled up, you sort of look at this as this row as a poker hand, and certain things will happen depending on what's played. But a joker will allow you to cover up a card. Let's say they didn't want my 5 to be here. Somebody could play a joker on top of this, and then that 5 is, for all intents and purposes, not in this hand. You only calculate the bonus hand once it's full of number cards. After you play a face card, whether it's a joker or king, queen, or jack, you will then play another card. So that's how you can cycle through your 3 cards in your hand rather quickly. If you have 2 face cards, you could face card, and then number card, and boom. If you play a king, the player can move any one of their horses, any one horse of their choice, straight ahead, equal to the position of, where you put it in the bonus hand. If the horse is in a lane matching the suit of the king that's played, you double that movement. So if I were to play the king of clubs on the 5 spot here, and I chose to move my 5 horse, I'm in the club lane. So I would double the movement of 5, so I'd move him 10. If you play a queen, all the horses in the lane matching the queen's suit move straight ahead, equal to the bonus hand position. So whatever the suit of the queen that is played, you look at that track, and every horse in that lane moves forward the number of wherever the queen was played. When you are moving multiple horses like that, you start with the horse that's in the first position and then work your way back through the field. When you play a jack, all horses except the one chosen by the player will move straight ahead, equal to whatever position it's played in the bonus hand. So regardless of suit, it doesn't matter. And this is straight ahead movement, so you're not allowed to change lanes for the kings, queens, or jacks. But basically, you play a jack. Let's say play a jack in the 4. It doesn't matter what suit it is. I pick one horse not to move. Every other horse moves forward 4 spaces. Again, starting with first place and moving back through the field. After you play a face card, like I said, you can immediately play another card. If that's a face card, you can immediately play yet another card until you've gone through your 3 cards. And then at that point, I believe you are done. You can play the face cards on top of other face cards, but you can't play a face card on top of a number card unless it's a joker. Jokers are the only ones that can be played on top of number cards. And that's basically how your turn goes. Let's say, all right, I'm going to put some, we'll put some other cards out here. Oh, wow. All right, so this was actually a good hand. So let's say we've done this. All right, so we've got the 7, and then the 7 of diamonds. It would move again 2 spots in the diamond row. So 1, 2. And then it would move yet again into the spade row for 4. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the number 6 horse will come out in the spade row and move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how the field would look after this play. And then once this gets filled up, we look at the bonus hand itself. So the last card that was played, let's say, was the 6 in the 5 spot. When you play a card, you get to choose which slot you put it in, so you don't have to go in ascending order or anything like that. But you then look at the hand, you look at it like a poker hand. So if you have a pair, so technically we don't have a pair. We have a pair, like that's just obviously 2 7s, but we have a 3 of a kind, basically, is what we have. If you have a pair, so if this 7 wasn't here and we just had the 2 7s, and they are adjacent to each other. The pair has to be adjacent, so they can't be split. They have to be adjacent. You would score 4 spaces for the number on the pair. So, for instance, if this were the case, the number 7 would go 4 spaces forward. Let's say we had this. and this wasn't here. Let's say there was a 10 here. This is what's called a trap. It's a pair that's split. So what you do is you look at how many cards are between the pair. Right now there's one, so this number 7 horse would move 1 spot forward. If it was like this, there are 3 cards between the pair, so the number 7 horse moves 3 spots forward. All right, let's go back. Let's see, that was there, this was here, that was there, and that was there, just for sanity's sake. 3 of a kind. You will take the number of the horse that it is, so 7 will move forward 9 spaces. Pretty simple. If you have quads, if you got 4 of a kind, so if I had 4 7s out here, that number horse, which would be number 7 horse, would move forward 24 spaces. And then they have what is called streaks in here, which are basically straights. So we have a... we do not have a straight here because these 2 7s are separating this 6 from this here. So if we had instead, if it was like this, we've got a 5 7 6. That's a 3-card streak. They do not have to be in order, but they do have to be adjacent to each other. So that's why when these 2 7s were here and the 6 was over here, there is no streak, and it has to be adjacent, but they do not have to be in order. A 3-card streak will give you 3 movements for each horse. So for this, the number 5 horse would move 3, 7 horse would move 3, 6 horse would move 3. 4-card streak is 6 points for each horse in the streak, and then a 5-card streak is 12 points for each horse in the streak, movement points essentially. You can have a flush. Wait, before I go any further. So an ace in the game is the number 1 horse. It's not above the king, but it does wrap around from the 10. So if you were working for a straight and you have ace 10 9, or if I had ace 10 2, that's still a streak, because you turn the corner, so to speak, I think is the terminology, lingo. You turn the corner from the 10 to the ace, or the ace to the 10, to complete a streak. You can have a flush. That's all of the same suit that's out on the board, and that's 15 for each card in the flush. So each horse that's in the flush will get 15 movement points, which could be, remember, there are 2 of each number card in the deck. So you could, if I had 2 7 of spades and it was a flush, 7 the 7 horse is moving 30 spaces. You can have what's called a paint hand. A paint hand is all of the same color, not necessarily the same suit, and you score 3 for each card in the paint hand. So if these 2 cards were black, it doesn't matter what suit, spades or clubs, then each horse in the hand, which is the number on the card, would score 3 points, movement points forward. And then finally, if you ever have all 5 cards of the same number, you have a Yahtzee, whatever horse that is automatically passes the finish line. They call it bolting, and instantly wins. And that is pretty much that. I talked about the blocks. I talked about lane changes. Oh no, I was mistaken. I apologize. When you are in a corner, you can still play. So let's say the number 7 is here in the spades, and I play a 7 of hearts. I could still move this horse in the spade lane. I just can't change lanes until I hit this column. Once I hit this column, then I can change to the 7 of hearts. So I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's when I would change lanes. You still move. You still move. You don't have to match the suit of the lane you're in. That was a rules mistake on my part. We talked about blocks. When you're looking at the bonus hand, you know, if you have four of a kind, you can't also have, like, if let's say I had another 7 here, I had 4 7s. I just have one 4 of a kind. I don't have a 4 of a kind with the 7s, and then a 3 of a kind with the 7s, and then a 2, you know, a pair with the 7s, and then a trap with the 2 7s on the, like, it doesn't, like, the subsets don't work that way. You only score one thing. Now you can score a straight and the triple, because they're not, those hands aren't subsets of each other. But if I had, let's say I had an 8 here, I would just have one 4 card straight and not a 4 card straight, and then a 3 card straight, or 2 3 card straights. It doesn't work that way. You can't, you don't get double points, only if they're completely separate hands that can't be you know, maximized or minimized from each other. And you basically keep playing that way until 3 horses pass the finish line, and then essentially the winner is whoever passes first on the starting gate. Yeah, so they would go 1 2 3 once they get out of the starting gate. If you have show horses, which are owned by the NPC people, they once they pass is when the game ends. But essentially, you know, whoever passes first is going to win the game, is how you kind of look at it. But it's a fun little kind of cribbage style game, poker hand playing. I did play this at a like a demo day, I guess you would call it, at a local game store, which is what introduced me to this game, and I bought it from them. This was done by Big Ham Games. Like I said, this is I'm going to call it the deluxe edition. It comes with a big 1-inch thick piece of wood. It looks like an inch. Yep. This is screen printed on. It's got the cribbage, the holes for the pegs for the horses, and these nice little horses with they have these little stickers that go around the bottom. These stickers keep coming unglued from themselves. They, you know, stick together and then they just unglue themselves. They're not necessary because the color matches, you know, the number. It is just something that's nice. I might try to see if there's some way. Might be able to find stickier tape, or maybe get a piece of clear tape to wrap around these to make sure that they definitely stick together. Something along those lines. They do keep coming unglued. The glue is not very strong, I guess, on the stickers, which is not. I mean, that's, I kind of half expected that anyways. So, what else? Oh, there is a pizza box version, I think is what they call it, of this game that's cheaper. This version was quite expensive just because they're doing they had to do. It's not like they have, you know, tens of thousands of people, you know, purchasing this version. So it was a really low print run, I would guess, which is why the cost was so high. I'm happy I bought it though. I'm not disappointed in it at all. But the pizza box version I think was like $30 to $40, which would be much more. It's cardboard board. I think these are standees. They're not, you know, metal. These are actually metal horses, so they're good quality. You know, there's not holes in the cardboard board, or the yeah, I guess it's cardboard. Wooden. It's not wooden. Standard game board, I'll call it that. They're just standees. They're not, you know, pegs that go in holes. And it comes in a box rather than this one comes in this bag. It's not little, but it's a bag with a handle, drawstring bag. So that is Breakneck Derby and how to play. Like I said, if there are show horses, you know what? Let's look at those rules real quick. If there are the show horses, the house horses, so to speak, they play as so. Whenever somebody would play a card into the bonus row, bonus hand, that moves a horse that's not owned by somebody. So a house horse. You do that movement, but then to play as the house horse, you draw the card off the top of the deck. If it's a number card, it goes into the lowest slot that it can. That includes covering up a face card. So when you play a face card out, there might be face cards out. They have to be covered with number cards before this hand can complete. If it's a joker, you play it on top of the number card closest to position number 5. So if there's nothing in 5, like if this was like this, you would have to play it here. Or, sorry, rather, yeah, that would cover this up. If there was something in 5, you would just play it in 5 to cover that up. Then you draw another card from the deck and play that. If it's a king, you play it into the lowest available open face card space in the bonus hand and move the horse currently leading the race. So again, lowest slot, play the king. You're going to choose the first horse, so that horse is going to move. If you play the queen, you play it into the lowest available open face card space, open or face card space. So if it's a face card, you can play on top of it, remember. If it's just open, you could just play the card down. And then you move all horses in the lane, matching the queen's suits, and then draw another card and play it. And then if it's a jack, you play it again into the lowest available open space or face card space, and move all horses except the horse currently leading the race. So it's a way for the other horses to sort of catch up. That's how the house horses work. I think this is going to be a good family style game, like party game kind of thing. I don't know if there's a player count on it. 1 to 10 players. I guess you could do one horse per player. I would hope that the only kind of thing you have to go in with this is knowing that I would imagine if you're playing with 10 players, actually, if you're playing with 10 players, everybody's probably going to be able to play quite a bit. Because everybody's just going to have one horse. If you're playing with 5, if you're playing with less than 5, where you might have 3 horses, some people are not going to get the same number of turns as other people. Because remember that after somebody plays a card, whoever owns that horse is the person that plays next. So there could be, you could go 10 minutes without playing anything from your hand because nobody's playing your horses. Eventually somebody's going to, but you could be sitting around for a little bit. That's the only kind of thing to know about this game going in, is that the turns are not equal, so to speak. If one horse gets way out and has some really great bonus hands, you're not, theoretically, there's 2 of each number card, so everybody's technically going to have the same amount of turns. But if one horse breaks away real quick and gets enough points to get back through the finish line, you might only get through like 3/4 of the deck, and then one player may have only, played a significantly less number of hands than other players. So there's just that, but it seems like it is a fun game because I played it. Like I said, I played it that gathering at the game store. The stickers keep coming undone. I'm gonna have to figure that out for sure. That's gonna bug me. But anyways, this was rules overview of Breakneck Derby. Like I said, we'll probably try to get a game of this going at some point and get it recorded so you can kind of see how it goes. Thanks for watching.